bookaholics, it's Isabel and welcome to another video. So I am really excited for this video. I've been wanting to do this for a while now. As you can tell from this video, I'm going to be judging books by their covers. I'm going to try to guess what a book is about just based off its cover. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to scroll through my Goodreads and I'm going to pick out books that I haven't heard about, or if I have heard about them, I don't know what they're about. And then after that, I'm going to look at the synopsis and find out what it's actually about, and I might even find some books to add to my TBR. This is probably going to be a hot mess of a video. I know I won't be right on many of these, probably any of these actually. It will be absolutely ridiculous, but I'm excited to find out what a cover really says about its book. Like, can you really judge a book by its cover? Can you really look at a cover and know exactly what it's about? I'm hoping this will be fun. I hope it will be entertaining. Let's just get right into it. Okay, let's go to my Goodreads. Alright, so the first book I see here is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I think I've heard Haley from Haley and Bookland talk about this. I don't really know what it's about. Let me just have a look at the cover here. So there's the Eiffel Tower and it's looking at it through a window with water on the window and a nightingale and a tree. So like, I'm going to say maybe it's about regrowth. It's going to be obviously set in Paris. This is probably set somewhere in the early 20th century or something like that. The nightingale kind of represents hope, but the Eiffel Tower in kind of a silhouette and raining, it kind of gives it a bit of a misery looking feeling. So I feel like this might be set in some kind of war or something. I'm not too sure what would actually happen in the story. It probably follows an adult woman who is struggling through the war. I don't know, I'm just getting Paris feels, so maybe she's a baker or something and she is helping the war somehow by feeding soldiers. I don't know. That went off somewhere else, but let's see what it's actually about.
In love, we find out who we want to be. In war, we find out who we are. France, 1939.
So I was right in like the earlier 20th century, like not really early, but 1939.
In the quiet village of Caribou, Vienna Marika says goodbye to her husband Antoine. As he heads for the front, she doesn't believe that the Nazis will invade France, but invade they do in droves of marching soldiers, in caravans of trucks and tanks, in planes that fill the skies and drop bombs upon the innocent. When a German captain requisitions Vienna's home, she and her daughter must live with the enemy or lose everything. Without food or money or hope, as danger escalates all around them, she is forced to make one impossible choice after another to keep her family alive. Vienna's sister Isabel is a rebellious 18-year-old girl searching for purpose with all the reckless passion of youth. While thousands of Parisians march into the unknown terrors of war, she meets Gaydon, a partisan who believes the French can fight the Nazis from within France, and she falls in love as only the young can, completely. When he betrays her, Isabel joins the resistance and never looks back, risking her life time and again to save others.
I had some of that right. It was in a sort of war, and it did follow a girl. It follows two girls, and actually this sounds pretty darn interesting. Alright, so, oh, that's the same one. Okay. The Scapegracers. I have not heard about this one before, but let's see the cover. So, the Scapegracers. When I see the word scape, I instantly think of scapegoat, so maybe it's someone who is being framed or is betrayed or something. And obviously there is a goat here, I think, or maybe a sheep, surrounded with the upside down horseshoe kind of, but it's flowers, but it's like, it is kind of like a horseshoe, so maybe it's telling the story of someone who is being betrayed or is being framed. They've been lucky for so long, they have to figure out how to get out of what they've been pushed into. I honestly have no idea what this could be about. It does have another shape of a horseshoe up top, looking more like a moon, so I feel like maybe this might be fantasy in the sense of, what kind of fantasy would this be? I honestly don't know what this could be. I don't know what that snake-like thing is either. Well, maybe it's a snake wrapping around the sheep/goat and like they're being not protected, but they are trapped within this snake's grasp, and in this story this goat type character, scapegoat type characters, gets out of it and helped by this one person, and they go on an adventure to get out and I don't know. That's what I got. So let's see what this is actually about.
An outcast teenage lesbian witch finds her coven hidden amongst the popular girls in her school and performs some seriously badass magic in the process. Skulking near the bottom of West High's social pyramid, Sideways Pike lurks under the bleachers doing magic tricks for Coke bottles. As a witch, lesbian, and lifelong outsider, she's had a hard time making friends. But when the 3 most popular girls pay her $40 to cast a spell at their Halloween party, Sideways gets swept into a new clique. The unholy trinity are dangerous angels, sugar-coated rattlesnakes, and now, unbelievably, Sideways' best friends. Together, the 4 bond to form a ferocious and powerful coven. They plan parties, cast curses on dude bros, try to find Sideways a girlfriend, and elude the fundamentalist witch hunters hell-bent on stealing their magic. But for Sideways, the hardest part is the whole having friends thing. Who knew that balancing human interaction with supernatural peril could be so complicated?
No betrayal, unfortunately. I was really thinking it would be something like that, but obviously the goat kind of represents the rituals. Didn't quite get that. I do love that it's a lesbian one, so I might add that to my want to read. I don't know if I'll actually end up reading it or what, but I would like to keep it in my eyesight. The next one, Sorcery of Thorns. I've heard about this one so many times. I don't think I've ever actually heard about what it's about. So let's actually click on this one. So Sorcery of Stones. So it has a female character on the cover. So obviously this will be the main character. I can't obviously guess what her name is. It looks like it's a fantasy book. So let's go with something really exotic. So like Arianis or Helenisa, or I don't know, I can't think of any fantasy names right now, but she's gonna have a fantasy name that's very hard to pronounce, let's just say that. So she has a sword, so obviously she's gonna be a fighter. It does say Sorcery of Thorns, so I'm gonna say that she's just learning her powers as a witch, or there is witches involved and she has to get back the magic for her kingdom, or she's doing something that has to do with retrieving, I don't know what the word is, but like she has to fight against the people who took her families and her kingdom's magic away, and now she has to fight against it and get it back. And of course this will have mystical creatures inside. She either will be fighting them or she'll be fighting alongside them, and it looks like there's thorns, so it's probably gonna be some kind of adventure. So like some kind of quest she has to go on and fight against all these different obstacles to get to where she needs to be to recapture the magic that she lost. Let's say that. So all sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. So she doesn't have an exotic name. That makes me very sad. I got that wrong.
All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery, magical grimoires that whisper on shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. Then an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire. Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime, and she is torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorn, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. As her alliance with Nathaniel grows stronger, Elizabeth starts to question everything she's been taught. About sorcerers, about the library she loves, even about herself. For Elizabeth has a power she has never guessed and a future she could never have imagined.
So she's not recapturing the magic as I thought, and she doesn't have an exotic name that cannot be pronounced. Sorcery is actually seen as the evil, and she is being protected by them in this book. So, you know, I had nothing right. I had absolutely nothing right in my synopsis of this. The next one, The Reckoning by John Grisham. Let's look at the cover all up and close. So it looks like there is a house in the very background next to a growth of trees, and there's the sky with all the clouds, and I don't know if that's water or if that's grass, but it's all shiny, and I honestly can't get anything out of this. Like, what is this story supposed to be about? So it obviously is the reckoning. So the reckoning means like kind of the end of the world. In the Bible, the reckoning is when evil's starting to come come out and God brings everyone who's really good up to heaven and everyone who was a sinner is stuck in earth and getting tortured. I think that's what that is. I don't think that's what this one's about, but I feel like maybe it is a mystery novel, maybe it's a crime novel. Someone is being accused of murder and the main character is there to either prove it and then they find something that proves that they didn't do it, or they're there to prove that he didn't do it all along. And the reckoning just stands for the fact that this person is being accused of something that he didn't do. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Let's see what it's about.
October 1946, Clanton, Mississippi. Pete Banning was Clanton's, Mississippi's favorite son, a decorated World War II hero, the patriarch of a prominent family, a farmer, father, neighbor, and a faithful member of the Methodist Church. Then, one cool October morning, he rose early, drove into town, walked in the church, and calmly shot and killed his pastor and friend, the Reverend Dexter Bell. As if the murder weren't shocking enough, it was even more baffling that Pete's only statement about it to the sheriff, to his lawyers, to the judge, to the jury, and his family was, "I have nothing to say." He was not afraid of death and was willing to take his motive to the grave. In a major novel, unlike anything he has written before, John Grisham takes us on an incredible journey from the Jim Crow South to the jungles of the Philippines during World War II. From an insane asylum filled with secrets to the Clanton courtroom where Pete's defense attorney tries desperately to save him. Reminiscent of the finest tradition of Southern Gothic storytelling, The Reckoning would not be complete without Grisham's signature layers of legal suspense, and he delivers in every page.
So, I think I got pretty close on that one. It's not someone coming in and revealing the mystery, but it did involve someone murdering, and it did involve kind of a Bible reference that this person was a devoted Methodist and he ended up murdering Dexter Bell, the Reverend. It's like he is bringing the reckoning because maybe the pastor did something that he wants to revenge for and believes that he is right to take that reckoning himself. Not close, but close enough that I'm giving myself a point because I deserve it. Okay, so I haven't heard about this one either, so let's see what this one's about. Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzales. This is either a YA or a middle school grade book. I'm gonna say it follows different characters, obviously with all the different characters in here, but they're all kind of gives me an Breakfast Club kind of feel with all the different people, like the guy who's up on the very top next to Only, he looks really relaxed, so he's maybe like a poet type person or maybe even like a scientist type person. Obviously the person with the basketball is a jock. The girl leaning against the Only one, she's probably the popular girl, one of the popular ones, so she's like a cheerleader. The girl sitting on top of Mostly is maybe like a outsider or someone who doesn't really want to fit in. She's kind of pushing herself into the background. And then the guy there, oh, they're looking at each other. I wonder if they're gay lovers. The guy sitting above Devastated is maybe a artistic type person, and then the one sitting on the bleachers is maybe a writer or something, but they're all kind of different parts of this high school and they somehow get all brought together through this devastated thing that happens, and they kind of bond and get to know each other in this. So like, I'm actually quite intrigued by this cover. When Ollie meets his dream guy Will, oh, I totally called it.
When Ollie meets his dream guy Will over summer break, he thinks he's found his happily ever after. But once summer's ended, Will stops texting him back and Ollie finds himself one print short of a fairy tale ending. To complicate the fairy tale further, a family emergency sees Ollie uprooted and enrolled in a new school across the country, Will's school, where Ollie finds that the sweet, affectionate, and comfortable queer guy he knew from summer isn't the same one attending Collingswood High. This Will is a class clown, closeted, and to be honest, a bit of a jerk. Ollie has no intention of pining after a guy who clearly isn't ready for a relationship, but as Will starts coincidentally popping up in every area of Ollie's life, from music class to the lunch table, Ollie finds his resolve weakening. The last time he gave Will his heart, Will handed it back to him, trampled and battered. Ollie would have to be an idiot to trust him with it again, right? Right.
I'm actually quite intrigued by that. When does that come out? March? Oh, that came out already! Ooh, yay, I'm excited. I did call the LGBTQ, so I'm really proud of that. I'm not too sure who all the people in here are representing. I was really thinking it would be a Breakfast Club type of thing, but apparently not. Totally off on that, but I'm honestly excited to find that out, and I'm definitely putting that onto my want to read, so I'm excited. Next one, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What are we getting into here? Fire and Brimstone, A Neighbor from Hell novel by R.L. Mathewson. And this cover has blue and green background, and then there's a guy with no shirt and he's muscled as fuck. Why does this look like this looks like a classic Harlequin novel. It doesn't have the lady in there, but it's got the naked chest of a man, which kind of fits that profile of a Harlequin romance. It does say neighbor from hell, so the main character here is a lady and she just moves into this new house, and her neighbor is this guy. He starts out as an asshole. He ends up being a very obsessive person, and that's seen as a romantic thing because that's classic Harlequin, isn't it? And they have just tons of sex. They have tons of sex. That's what I'm gonna say this is.
What happens when a Bradford with questionable OCD, a tempter, and a reputation for making his employees cry falls for the woman that refuses to accept the fact that he's fired her and was terrifyingly more of a Bradford than he was? Well, we can't share that here because it would be seriously inappropriate, but we're sure that you can see where this is leading. To the altar or a stint in the slammer, either one is possible when it comes to the Neighbor from Hell series. This book, along with the rest of the series, is intended to make you smile, let you relax, and forget the drama and stress that plagues your lives, even if it's just for a little while. This is a drama-free book. My goal is to put a smile on your face, and I hope this book does that.
This book cover does not match the author's note here that it would just be a book that makes you smile. It honestly just makes me uncomfortable, and I just would not read this for a relaxing time and to smile. So I don't know if this is actually a Harlequin, but like obviously it follows two people who are butting heads, and there's probably some sexual tension because there's a naked man on the cover, so there's gotta be some sex in it, right? We're gonna move on because it's kind of making me uncomfortable here. Oh, there's another one. Can I just skip this one? Because I feel like it's gonna be the exact same thing. I'm gonna skip that. So, High Society, The Life of Grace Kelly. So I feel like this is going to be pretty obvious. I feel like this is a memoir or a biography about Grace Kelly, because there's really nothing else it could be. Let's see.
Drawing on his unprecedented access to Grace Kelly, best-selling biographer Donald Spoto at last offers an intimate, honest, and authoritative portrait of one of Hollywood's legacy actresses. In just 7 years, from 1950 through 1956, Grace Kelly embarked on a whirlwind career that included roles in 11 movies, from the principled Amy Fowler Kane in High Noon to the thrill-seeking Frances Stevens of To Catch a Thief. Grace establishes herself as one of Hollywood's most talented actresses and iconic beauties. Her astonishing career lasted until her retirement at age 26, when she withdrew from the stage and screen to marry a European monarch and become a modern working princess and mother. Based on never-before-published or quoted interviews with Grace and those conducted over many years with her friends and colleagues, from co-stars James Stewart and Cary Grant to director Alfred Hitchcock, as well as many documents disclosed by her children for the first time, acclaimed biographer Donald Spoto explores the transformative of a convent schoolgirl to New York model, successful television actress, Oscar-winning movie star, and beloved royal. As the princess requested, Spoto waited 25 years after her death to write this biography. Now, with honesty and insight, High Society reveals the truth of Grace Kelly's personal life, the men she loved, the men she didn't, and what lay between the facade of fairy tale life.
That actually sounds pretty darn interesting. I'm gonna put it onto my want to read. I don't know if I'll actually read it, but it kind of gives me that Evelyn Hugo type. Like, I know it's actually a biography, but like it gives me that feel, you know? So this is gonna be the last one I'm gonna do. Okay, so it's 9 by T.M. Frazier. So this has a character of a man facing away from us with a bunch of tattoos. It looks like he's holding some kind of rope behind him, and the tattoo he has on his back is a really creepy looking devil type thing, and then it looks like really creepy other tattoos on his arms. 9, The Tale of Kevin Clearwater. I'm gonna go off on the boat here and say that this is about a guy named Kevin Clearwater. Don't argue with me, I think I'm right. Let's say Kevin Clearwater. It seems like maybe this is a book about, maybe he is a tattoo artist or something. I don't know what 9 would represent. I was instantly thinking maybe like the, oh, what's it called? Like that purgatory, 10 levels of hell or something like that. And maybe he's in the 9th level of hell, and that's what the 9 stands for. And that maybe he's in this purgatory type feeling, like he's still alive, but he's facing all these challenges. I'm not too sure what the 9th circle of hell is. Let's look that up actually. 9th circle of hell is a frozen lake. The people who are sent to the 9th circle are people who have betrayed the trust of someone or something close and special. Oh, perfect. Okay. So he obviously has betrayed someone and he's feeling very, very tortured about that. He's apologized and maybe he falls in love with someone else and is able to finally forgive himself or something. Let's go with that because I honestly have no idea where else this could go. I don't know what the rope means. Oh dear. Stalking is such sweet sorrow. What?
9 lives, 9 inches, 1 chance to make her his. Preppy's brother's about to live up to the family legacy in more ways than one. This is the story of 9, the tale of Kevin Clearwater.
I was not expecting the stalking. Stalking is such sweet sorrow. Hello, no it's not. You're just the fucking creeper. I think the person who is being stalked is the one who should be sorrowful. That was not what I was expecting. I will definitely not be reading these. Let's just say that you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot. There's a lot that I got wrong here. There's a lot that I was kind of close, but not close at all. There was some that just made me uncomfortable in every sense of the word, but I did enjoy doing this little exercise to see if you can actually judge a book by its cover. And to be honest, you can't look at a cover and know what it's about. That's one thing, but you can judge a book and know that you don't want to read it. There's some books on here that I knew I wouldn't want to read based off the cover. And when I read the synopsis, I was right. So I think in the sense you can judge a book by its cover based on if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you wouldn't read it. If it makes you feel like maybe excited, you would look at it. So I think you can judge a book by its cover. You just can't guess what a book is by its cover because the covers, they don't match. They reveal nothing. They give you hints, but you can never guess what an actual book's about just by looking at its cover. So that was fun to find out. I hope you guys had fun too watching this. I would like to know. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye!